At that moment, the young man landed and said, "To think that I'd be lucky enough to meet 3 sword cultivators, in such a rural and deserted place. I am Jian Feiyan of the Sword Saint Sect. I greet my fellow sword cultivators. I hope I didn't startle you just now." Hearing that, Xingqian spoke up. "Startle the strongest member of the all-time sect? You're not worthy." Brother Jun also said, "Your sword technique was extraordinary. You're worthy of being called the Sword Saint Sect." Pink-haired young man said just one word. "Fight a match." That's exactly what I wanted. And so both sides prepared for battle. The blindfolded young man smiled and said, "It's hard to meet someone cultivating the sword Dao, but there are 3 of you, but don't worry, I will be sure to go easy on you." And then all 4 of them rushed into chaotic combat. Suddenly, there was a voice calling, "Fair doggy." Turning to look, they saw a girl in a brown dress approaching and saying, "If you keep fighting others for no reason, you will be damaging our sect's reputation. After all, you are now a grandmaster in the sword Dao. How could you still act so childish?" The young man, sweating, stammered a reply. "Master," girl brown dress said again, "I brought you to the Black Cliff Mountain for you to focus on training your sword in order to achieve better results in the battle of tigers and dragons." Over here, Qian was also lecturing Brother Jun. "We just entered the Grand Central Province. You should keep a lower profile. We need to let the disciples settle in first." Brother Jun replied, I know." Brother Jun thought to himself, "This is Black Cliff Mountain, the so-called Forbidden Land that was mentioned in the journal left by the Black Dragon sect?" After that, both sides greeted each other warmly. "Then, friends, I will meet you on the stage of the battle between tigers and dragons. Then, friends, I will meet you on the stage of the battle between tigers and dragons. By the way, I want to ask, isn't the Black Cliff Mountain considered a forbidden zone? On our way here, although few, we did see some other cultivators." Girl brown dress spoke up to explain, "Friend, you know that the Black Cliff Mountain is a forbidden zone, but you must not know its source, do you? This is the place where the demon sovereigns slayed 2 martial sovereigns. This made the surrounding demonic and spirit-chi chaotic, making it impossible to cultivate. However, for that exact reason, Black Cliff Mountain has become a holy land for those cultivating a different Dao, body tempering, sword, blade, and other non-mainstream cultivators instead find it easier to temper themselves here. But I will still suggest you leave this place. Black Cliff Mountain is not a safe place to begin with." "I see, thank you." Qian watched the 2 figures walking away and said, "Those 2 don't seem like people from the Central Province. The Central Province has dominated the Star Mine Land for too long. Those from the top rank 1 sects won't even spare a glance at those from the other provinces." Hearing that, Brother Jun asked curiously, "Qian, you seem to know a lot about the Central Province. What if they are just good people who have had a good upbringing?" On the other side, blindfolded young man also asked, "Master, my behavior was not bad, right? I didn't show any arrogance at all, but why are you so strict about this? The other sects don't even bother paying any attention to those from the other provinces." The girl in the brown dress turned to look at Brother Jun's group and responded, "Because out of the other provinces, once emerged a peerless hero who took the entire world by storm." Meanwhile, Brother Jun spoke to his disciples, "We just entered the Central Province, but we've already met countless experts no worse than you. I hope you now know that there is always someone better than you." Su Xiaomo raised his hand and said, "Then should we try to restrain ourselves in the Central Province? Even if others were to provoke us, we must." Hearing that, Brother Jun smiled warmly and replied, "I'm teaching you not to look down and underestimate the geniuses. However, if they have no eyes, then we are obliged to show them that there is still heaven above the sky." Brother Jun then asked again, "Tell me, what is the 23rd first creed of the all-time sect?" The whole group shouted in unison, "Those who violate the dignity of the all-time sect must be punished no matter how far they run." Su Xiaoma quickly added, "Other than Elder Wei Qingfeng's lovers, there's nothing for us to fear." Hearing this, the entire group shivered and broke out in a cold sweat. As expected, after hearing the name Old Wei, girl brown dress suddenly stopped and turned to look at Brother Jun's group with a shocked expression. Blindfolded young man, noticing this, immediately asked, Master, what's wrong? Girl brown dress replied, Nothing, I just thought I heard a familiar name. Over here, the culprit had been dealt with swiftly. Brother June pointed at Xioma and said, It's a good thing we are out in the wilderness, otherwise that loose mouth of yours would have caused an unquantifiable amount of trouble. Li Fei, watch him carefully. If he tries to talk again, shut him up with a ball to the face. After giving the order, Brother June asked System, in theory, the cave described in the Black Dragon Sect's journal should be nearby. There should still be some secrets hidden deep within. How come I can't feel anything out of place around here? With how messy the spiritual chi is in the surroundings, I won't be able to search too far even if I cover this entire place with a formation array. System replied, Which is why I said your level of mastery over the system's techniques is even worse than your disciples. But just this once, I will show you some pity and give you a hint. Do you know what the forward seal in the 9 universe seal represents? Forward, I know. It's the revolving sun seal. It can release bright light, right? I always thought it was similar to the sun palm technique. Shallow, the revolving sun seal, with all 5 fingers extended, represents control over the 5 elements throughout heaven and earth: metal, wood, water, wood, and earth. You are in harmony with everything, you are everything. Hearing system words, Brother June immediately used the skill revolving sun seal. This is what it feels like to be in harmony with everything? How mysterious. I feel like I am the forest itself. I feel like I've lived here for countless years. Then the demonic cave should be. It was buried deep under the mountain cliff. If it weren't for the revolving sun seal, I might have never found this place. There's a barrier at the entrance too? Judging by the strength of the barrier, the person who set it up must be stronger than me. Suddenly, his face turned pale and darkened as he looked inside the cave. The resentment here is too overpowering. A while later, Brother June led his disciples to the entrance of the cave. Xingqian looked at the cave and said, Sect leader, this is the place hiding the treasure? The surrounding yin qi is quite dense. Well, it is a demonic sect's treasure, so the yin qi being denser is quite natural. I just dispelled the barrier. Yin qi that has accumulated over 1,000 years is rushing out all at once, so it can be a bit overbearing. Sect leader, don't you usually go on these treasure hunts by yourself? Why did you bring everyone along this time? Brother June replied. That, I'm a little scared of ghosts. There's more yawn with more people. It's a bad habit I inherited from my previous life. An image of a Taoist exorcist from a Chinese movie. Seeing Brother June so frightened, Xingqian confidently said, What's there to be scared of about ghosts? They are just creatures born from souls contaminated with yin qi. A little ghost jumped out to scare them, making Brother June leap onto Qian. Meanwhile, Xingqian, with an expressionless face, threw a punch that sent the ghost's soul flying from its body. You're blocking the path. Beep, that startled me. After that, the group moved toward a chest. As they got closer, they realized the chest had already been opened at some point. There really is a treasure chest here, but it's already empty. Sect leader, why don't you come take a look? What are you doing in that corner? Over here. Brother June was busy lighting candles and cheerfully explaining. Legends say that if you light a candle in the southeast corner, if there are no ghosts, the candle won't be extinguished. But if something blows it out, well, that's why I found a candle that can never be extinguished. No ghost can ever blow it out. Noticing a group of small ghosts behind them, Xingqian spoke up. Doesn't that make it completely useless? A candle that will never burn out, a system-exclusive product. Even when the sun goes out, it won't go out. The ghosts started flying out of the chest one by one. One of them let out a loud wail. The demon sect is eternal. You dare betray the demon sovereign, you must die. Seeing this, Brother June quickly said, Oh, now that these ghosts have shown their true forms, I'm not scared at all. Wow, you're so amazing, doggy. Then you can get down now? It's just that Qian looks so beautiful today that I can't hold back my passion. So you'd rather admit being a pervert over admitting that you're a scaredy cat? Behind them, Qingyang quickly sketched the scene that had just unfolded for his collection. At this moment, with flames blazing brightly, Brother June stepped forward. Lingering spirits, right? You actually made this lord lose so much face. He then unleashed a skilled soul to oblivion, shooting it toward the ghosts. But 2 seconds later, he was startled to find that the flames had no effect on them. Brother June thought to himself, the red star flame is not effective. Are these things not the same as the ones at the cave's entrance? Are these not made of souls and inchi? The ghosts rushed toward Brother June, surrounding him like fans around an idol, then passed straight through his body. The disciples panicked and shouted, "Sect leader!" Brother June raised his hand to signal them to stop and said, "I'm fine." No wonder why it wasn't afraid of the Saint Fire. These are just remnants of the resentment left behind by the demon sect. To think that they survived antagonizing the entire star continent just to fall because of a betrayal. The members of the demon sect sure are prideful. Even the resentment they left behind is so wrong. It's a good thing I have trained in the training tower, or else, I'm afraid, my consciousness would have been destroyed. But at least I was able to get some information. Other than being the place where the demon sovereign had his showdown with the other martial sovereigns, it was also where the remaining members of the demon sect hid after they were schemed against. They were unwilling to see the demon sect be destroyed, so they hid the demon sect's heritage here and turned themselves into pure resentment to guard the demon sect's last hope. Without a doubt, the thing in this first box was the blood technique that the Black Dragon sect's ancestor took away. The ones deeper within should be the true inheritance of the demon sect. While speaking, Brother June moved forward, leading the disciples behind him. The ghosts inside sensed the intruders and suddenly became alert. Wildly looking toward Brother June, "Everyone, listen up, guard your minds." A wave of ghosts surged forward like a tsunami. Xingchen frowned and said, "These kinds of attacks are so annoying. I hate the feeling of having power but being unable to use it. If we step onto that bridge, these lingering resentments will all attack." Meanwhile, Yukong, unaffected by the ghosts, casually asked, "Why are they avoiding me? Is it because I trained the tyrant aura like the sect leader told me to? Or is it, although it was in a dormant state, but I did indeed tear apart their demon sovereign once? And I even kept a sliver of his spiritual chi as a souvenir." Hiwudi continued speaking, "I originally just wanted to use this to threaten the brat inside Meng Bao's body, to make sure he stays in line, but who would have thought that it would also have such a use?" On the other side, Brother June was struggling and shouted loudly, "Wu Di, do you think you can also make that thing protect the other disciples? This kind of resentment is malicious and chaotic. The disciples might not be able to resist it for long." "Okay, it's the perfect time to try out a new technique I've learned. Fortunately, this world only restricts me from using the cultivation techniques I learned, not my weapon refining skills." While speaking, Hiwudi brought out the sect's gate to block the wave of ghosts. "Ghosts, phantoms, specters, and spirits, I'll let you have a good look at the power of a closed-door disciple. Take this." The once small gate now manifested into a gigantic door. Seeing this, Brother June exclaimed, "Yo, isn't that my 999 wrought iron ring sect gate?" Then, Brother June stepped forward and asked, "So if you imprint a part of the demon sovereign on the door, it will keep the resentment away?" Hiwudi replied, "That's right, I just made a few modifications to our sect gate. Depending on the amount of power infused into it, its effects will change. However, it can only keep out beings of such pure resentment." Hearing this, Brother June continued to ask, "Then, can I also add my techniques into it?" Hiwudi responded, "Sect leader, do you have a way to take care of them? I just found out about it recently too. The 9-universe seal palm technique is all-encompassing." Brother June then unleashed a technique knowledge fist seal, striking directly at the door. A terrifying burst of energy erupted. The door slowly opened and directly sucked the souls inside. Brother June continued, "Using words to control space, to warp even space and time. Although I can only channel it through the gate right now, I should be able to use it to bend space once I get the hang of it, although this might take a while to master properly. After all, it's a technique that can completely turn the tides of a battle." Hiwudi was shocked upon hearing this, thinking to himself, "To warp space and time? Even an ancestral saint shouldn't have an ability like this, unless the techniques left behind by the 7 mystic saint isn't limited to the 7 mystic break. After pondering, he immediately asked, by the way, where did you send the resentment to? Brother June, with a mysterious expression, replied, Buddha says it cannot be said. True Yang County's governor's mansion. At this moment, a young man with brown hair and brown eyes said, Oh? You're willing to help me spy on the all-time sex movements? A middle-aged man kneeling on the floor reported, This lowly one has an irreconcilable hatred with the all-time sect. Under their oppression, the other sects of the Qin Yang County cannot get a foothold at all. Our 100 Sect Alliance and the Holy Spring Sect were completely trampled on by them. This is a blood feud. In order to show my sincerity, this lowly one has been gathering information on the all-time sect for the past year, which I have brought here for you today. I also found out that the AI family's secret pills come from the all-time sect. Perfect timing. I just finished building my 4 spirits army. I can use this information to find the perfect time to attack them. Qin Haoren, you have made a great contribution with this report. Quick, open it so I can take a look. Just open the chest. Suddenly, a swarm of ghosts rushed straight into the face of the brown-eyed man, screaming loudly, Long live the demon sect! The entire district governor's mansion was reduced to ruins. The district governor shouted loudly, Qin Haoren, this is your so-called sincerity? On the other side, Brother June leisurely approached a treasure chest and thought to himself, according to the Drizzle Hall's reports, after a round of recovery, the true Yang County has started doing stupid things again. I just happened to find the perfect thing to cause them some trouble. I just wonder where exactly in the true Yang sect the gate opened. I wonder what kind of treasure the ancestor of the demon sect left behind in this second box. As he opened the chest, Brother June was astonished, then excitedly grabbed a skill book, shouting, We found a great treasure. It says here that this is the demon sovereign's most powerful martial arts technique. It's the demon scripture. This is the technique that the demon emperor used to fight off several other sovereigns simultaneously. With this, the entire trip is worth it. This isn't worth beep. Isn't this just the martial arts of the guy hiding inside Manghwa? If we beat him up a few more times, not only will he hand over the technique, we can even learn it from the creator himself. The sect is developing holistically now. We have the martial Dao, the sword Dao, the blade Dao, body tempering, etc. Brother June looked towards the tunnel and continued, There's another platform left? Now we even have the demonic Dao. Don't tell me the demon emperor's signature technique wasn't the most important treasure? Humph? These are the remains of the demon sex fanatics? But what is that thing they're surrounding? Why does it seem so familiar? Why can't I help but feel like I've got something similar before? A eerie voice echoed, Do you wish to obtain my treasure?